All right, we're live here on YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. As you know, my name is Jay, and I'm here with iammix. Now, what do I call? Do I call you iammix, or do I just call you Mix, or what do I call you?
You can call me Mix. That's fine, man. I'm totally fine.
Mix, what's up, dude? What's up, dude? Like, I've been following you on Twitter for I'd say a few months now. Right around the time the election, I think, started to come up to November 12th. I think I followed your account. Maybe I found you through the Joe Cronin show. I know we both like wrestling somehow, and we both seem to be into the political landscape. But dude, you're tweeting the news all the time. You have a YouTube channel. You're a political commentator, I believe. But you're not just that. You kind of hit everything. No matter what big news story comes out, you're hitting it, man. So introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do, man.
All right. Well, you can join me first on Twitter at iammix24. iammix24 on Twitter. Join me on YouTube at iammix, and join me on Instagram as well. Instagram at all I do is mix. All I do is mix on Instagram. I try to keep that non-political, just to differentiate. Just to keep it a little bit different. Like it's strictly political. I keep the Twitter mostly political, the YouTube political, but the Instagram I really want to build that up. I just started getting back into the social media thing about a year ago. I was off it for like 8 years. I got off of it back in 2013 because it was so toxic. I got bored of it. I got tired of the toxicity, and it's even the toxicity is even worse now than it was before, especially since Trump was elected and now with Biden in office. It's gotten even like 10 times worse. So I was off it. Decided to get back in because I left my corporate job January of last year, and I guess I needed something to keep me entertained while I was trying to think of new business ideas, trying to be, entrepreneur, stuff like that. So I, decided to jump back in the social media thing because I knew that the election was coming up November 3rd. I said, you know what? Let me get into the social media thing. Let me ride this wave of hopefully what I've hoped to have been a Trump victory in November. Obviously that didn't happen, but I wanted to ride that wave. I was very successful at that with Twitter. I had fast success with Twitter. They chopped me down in half. We could talk about that, the censorship and all of that stuff too. I lost many followers. But yeah, I started doing that, gained a lot of notoriety. A lot of blue check marks are following me. You follow me. Others have been following me. So I guess someone was interested in what I had to say over the past year or so, and it proved successful with the amount of followers that I have. So that's just basically it. Work for myself, entrepreneur, do my own thing, do the social media as a hobby, and try to keep it fun, try to keep it light, try to keep it informative. And that's pretty much basically what it is. I can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted. You hear me?
My bad. Yeah, I got you. I muted myself for a second because I was doing something. But yeah, dude, you have that entrepreneurial spirit like I do in a sense. I'm not quite there yet full time, but I'm a side hustler. But one thing I took from what you just said is you mentioned that the censorship on Twitter has hit you pretty hard. You've lost followers. Why do you think that is? Let's dig a little deep into that because that's a really important topic right now. Why do you think that happened to you?
Because I'm a conservative. I guess I'm not like beat you over the head type of conservative. I think I'm like middle of the road. I think I'm a practical person. I would think so. But at one point, I was gaining over 1,000 followers a day. People were following me like crazy. I was cruising towards 30,000 followers before, oh no, Twitter had to block me. They put a block on me. I don't know if they shadow banned me. I don't know if all of the conservatives got purged away from me or something. I don't know what it is, but I was at 26.8, closing in on 30,000 followers.
26.8. Now you're just above 12.
I'm at 12.3. So I've been knocked down more than half. So the censorship is real out here, man. You've seen big names being banned. Deanna Lorraine, Bill Mitchell, many names, many conservative names got banned over the past several months. Educating Liberals got banned. A lot of big names got banned over the past several months. I mean, I've just been lucky to have survived. All of my Twitter friends that we used to interact by DM, because my DMs are always open, free to interact anytime you want, and I always respond to you. You know, I'm not like the one that don't want to respond to nobody. I'm open, active. I respond to you. I'll talk to you. But all of my Twitter friends, they've all been gone. They've all been banned, gone. No one to talk to. You know, relatively
that's
speaking.
incredible. That's incredible. I believe that as soon as you get a suspension, and Twitter will never admit to this, but as soon as you get a suspension or a prolonged banning, like I've been banned in 2020 probably 3 or 4 times, like a couple 12-hour bans, and then one week ban where they hit me for a week right around Christmas time.
Wow.
Yeah, I got hit with a week, dude. Something about, I think it was something about the vaccine, which we can get into too. But yeah, I had a little bit of a statement about that, and they got me for a week. And it's just like, to me, I feel like this is a slippery slope, but I also think behind the scenes, they'll never admit to this, as soon as that happens to an account, it changes the game for that account. Like you have probably a 0% chance of ever like having a road to redemption, of ever getting that blue check mark, getting verified, or really having a shot at building your Twitter audience organically. You'll probably have to pay them an ad revenue to do it. Just like kind of the same thing with the Facebook model now. You cannot build an organic Facebook following. You need to pay them ad revenue to do it. Unless you're lucky, you got to be super talented. You got to be super good. But a lot of the times they rig the system. So where do you think this is going to lead to? Was Trump the beginning? Because here's a quote. I was watching your YouTube channel the other night, and I wrote down a couple quotes from your video. And one that I got specifically about Trump was that you said, "Trump is a lone man in a sea full of sharks." Now, and that's something that came out of your mouth that you said, and I agree with, and I thought it was brilliant. And this is the tip of the iceberg, right? We've only started with the censorship.
Oh, this is just the beginning. They're going to first start with the censorship on social media. You're seeing it on Facebook. You're seeing it on Twitter. They banned the president. They actually went ahead and banned Donald Trump from Twitter. I mean, can you believe that?
It's unbelievable.
That is unprecedented, and he's facing a lot of harassment to this day. The impeachment, I think Scotland wants to sue him. New York Attorney General wants to go over his taxes and his business dealings. A lot of harassment. Palm Beach, I guess the residents of Palm Beach, they don't want him staying there as a resident. Why not? It's his hotel. It's his resort. That's his home. Why shouldn't he be able to stay in his own resort? Why are they giving him such a hard time? I don't understand. So Trump's banned a lot of good people. We lost, and this is an info war. Is an info war, and the Democrats are vicious. They're not gonna stop attacking conservatives for speech. They're not gonna stop attacking conservatives for anything that happened on January 6th. Just to get on that for a second, January 6th, the Capitol Hill thing. Any person that was involved in that Capitol Hill riot, you'll get the FBI on them. FBI will sick their greyhound dogs on you. They'll raid your home at 5 a.m. to arrest you, to make a big show out of it. You lose your job. You lose your paycheck. You lose your insurance. You lose your social media, no access. You lose everything. But BLM and Antifa, when they were rioting over the summer, they were rioting, looting, burning businesses down, destroying whole communities. For weeks, they were entering into state houses in Missouri and other areas. They were doing all these different things at the ICE building in Portland. They were throwing rocks and Molotov cocktails and all these different things. But did anything happen to them? No, nothing happened to them. What I always say is this: they get bailed out within 24 hours. If they get arrested, BLM and Antifa, they get arrested, they get bailed out through Kamala Harris's Minnesota Freedom Fund, which helps bail these people out within 24 hours. But the people that just simply protested, peaceful protests, that weren't even involved, they went to D.C. that day in January 6th, but they weren't even involved in the Capitol Hill thing. Yeah, they losing their job, they losing their livelihoods, they losing insurance, they losing everything. Social media, they getting banned. They getting an FBI raid on them. So there's a big double standard between how the conservative, quote unquote, gets treated compared to how the liberal Democrat gets treated. Two different ways of justice, from what I'm seeing. It's not equal. It's obviously not equal. And then you got the Democrats here. They're always gaslighting you, making stuff up. Don't believe what your eyes can see. Don't believe what your ears can hear. There's a total gaslight. That's what gaslighting basically is.
Oh yeah.
You know, so they're doing that. They're doing that. And meanwhile, the conservatives, we're suffering. We're suffering. And it's a total shame. Two systems of justice. And I don't see it getting any better. It's going to get worse. They talk about these mass arrests. They were talking about mass arrest. Mass arrest is going to happen. Trump's going to mass arrest all these people. No, the mass arrest is not coming for the liberal Democrats. The mass arrest is coming for you, conservative, you MAGA. You're the one that's going to be arrested. You're the one that's going to lose your livelihood. It's you. So you got to be careful. You got to be real careful out here. I always say this in my videos, you know, stay away from these protests, stay away from these false flags, stay away from these provocateur agents and stuff like that. Stay away from that stuff because they're coming after you. And the Democrats ain't playing no games.
Yep. I'm not going to a protest. You won't catch me dead at a protest because when I go there, I'll probably end up dead. But it's a real shady situation out there, man. I'm relatively new to this side of thinking. So just give you a little bit of my background politically. I never cared up until around the time Obama started to come into the picture. And like George W. Bush, obviously, I'm 36 years old. So like 9/11 happened when I was in high school and all that good stuff. So George W. Bush has always been the enemy to me. You know, my entire life. Like I always thought this guy was a piece of trash, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I voted for Obama and I believed everything, man. I was fully in, dude. I love the comedy political commentary that was out there, like Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert.
They were great back then. Yeah, they were great. They were actually funny.
Yeah.
And they were actually like relevant and poignant, and they were just so smart. I don't know. And what happened to them.
It was a different political landscape. It was a pre-Trump landscape where the Democrats were different. Like this Democrat party right now, the liberals and stuff, this isn't the same party that was around a decade ago. It's different. It's different, man. It's totally different. There's almost been a realignment. So over the past, like pretty much during the coronavirus type era, I really, because I'm from not caring for many years. Like when Trump became president, I was like, how could we do this? I can't believe America would get this racist in office. You know, this piece of shit, this Russian spy. That was me. I was like, oh my God.
So you believe that? You believe that?
Dude, yeah. Wow. That's what I want to say. I told Hotep this. I was like, hook, line, and sinker, bro. I believed it all. I was like mainstream, sucked into the mainstream vortex for many years. So, but during that Trump presidency, I went on kind of a journey in my brain to try to figure out why. Like, why did we elect President Trump? You know, and it took me a couple of years to figure it out. But during this coronavirus pandemic, that's when it really opened up. And I started to really figure out why we voted for Trump and why this guy isn't such a bad guy. And wait, Russia was all a hoax and that was the real conspiracy theory? Hold on a second. I didn't know that. I was convinced that this shit was real, but that was the real conspiracy. One of the biggest conspiracy theories of all time, mind you. Right. And it turned out to be complete bullshit. So I've been on this journey where now I'm like, all right, I've exposed in my mind the liberal thought process, the mindset, and what goes into it, and like they're kind of Illuminati grasp they put on people through Hollywood and through music and through all different kinds of outlets. And they tout this. They think this is an amazing thing to have Hollywood like be completely involved with their party, but we see through it, man. And I'm really just getting sick of the mainstream news and all this mainstream stuff. Is there a way? How do we like get past this sleeping kind of society that we have in America? Like everyone seems to be just like entrenched into this. How do we get the message out there? By doing this, right? By doing what we're doing.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you. I don't really have an answer for that. We are so divided now as a nation. Like there's like a sharp divide. Like no one wants to hear the other side's thoughts anymore. No one wants to get a different political opinion. Nothing. Like we're even in Congress, we're so divided. Like no one wants to hear the other side's thoughts anymore about anything. So it's almost like a Cold War type of situation where we just can't get along and unite the way how we used to. Let me tell you my journey real quick, because I hated Bush too. Bush was the worst president that we ever had. Without a doubt. And I voted for Obama in 2008. but as usual, we were betrayed by Obama. He didn't follow through on any of his promises that he campaigned on. So I gave up. I gave up politics. I gave up voting in 2012. I didn't even vote. Actually, I'm lying. I voted for Romney. I did vote for Romney in 2012. That was the last one. And then I unregistered voting with New York. I said, take me off the voting list. I don't even want to be a part of any party anymore. Let me be. Gave up politics. I'm like, whatever. Both sides are all the same. And I was heavily influenced by InfoWars and other things, because back then, Alex Jones was like, he wasn't really a part of either party. Two sides of the same coin. They're both the same. So I gave up on it, moved on with my life up until Trump came along in 2015, and he actually proposed policies that I actually agree with, that the Democrats used to actually believe. Securing the borders. That was a big deal to me. Finally, someone is actually talking about securing the borders and curbing illegal immigration. That drives down wages, that lowers quality of life, that does all these different things. So Trump is talking about that, talking about tax cuts. We haven't heard about tax cuts in years.
Never.
In years.
Yeah.
Repealing Obamacare, which was a disaster. That the individual mandate was mandatory. Lucky that I was working at the time, so I didn't have to deal with the individual mandate. Imagine now that I'm not like working in a corporate America setting, where I have to get my own insurance. I would have to pay the individual mandate if I didn't take out insurance for the year.
Let me touch on that point real quick. I got hit with the individual mandate during the Hurricane Sandy type era because because like I worked at the Jersey Shore. I live in New Jersey, and I was working at the Jersey Shore Seaside Heights boardwalk, and the boardwalk got wiped out, man. We were closed. The whole industry was dead. So of course I didn't have health insurance. Bam, I got hit with that tax, man. It hurt. It really hurt because you're doing your taxes and you see your refunds nice and high and you're like, this is sweet. And then you get smacked with all those fees and that mandate and you're like, oh, what a mess. Continue. I'm sorry. I just want to throw that in,
That's cool, man. But so Donald Trump had different policies. It stood out from any other Republican. None of the other Republicans they didn't have what it takes to be Hillary Clinton, because obviously she was a front runner. She was going to win the Democratic nomination, not Bernie. Without a doubt. It was all rigged for Hillary. It is what it is. Ted Cruz wasn't it. Jeb Bush, that we welcome all, a sea of love, or whatever the crap he said at that time. We welcome them with love, the immigrants with love. I mean, come on, what kind of nonsense is that? And I knew that the only person that could have defeated Hillary was Donald Trump, because he had the charisma, he had the right policies. It was a populist message. Little guy, little gal against the elites, the political elites, and Hillary is considered to be a political elite, right? The Clintons,
totally,
the Obamas, So his message resonated with me. I did vote for him in 2016 because of that, and obviously he did. He won in a landslide. I mean, I know they tried to interfere with that. Let's say, because I don't want to say any other word, because if I say whatever I want to say, Twitter, or YouTube will give you a strike. Okay, it's settled. It's settled. It's settled. So that was it. Supported Trump through the 4 years. He went through all of these crazy battles with the Democrats, the fake Russian hoax, the Stormy Daniels garbage, Avenatti nonsense, the tax return garbage, a whole bunch of nonsense over the years, the impeachment farce. So he went through a whole bunch of nonsense. And you see the Democrats, I give them credit. They don't play games.
No, dude, they
don't play. Even as the minority party, they were able to get Trump out. They played dirty. With help from big tech, with help from big pharma, from mainstream media. They use all of their weapons to get rid of this guy. And the impeachment thing, the COVID-19 disaster. So they use all of their weapons, the lockdowns, all of that stuff, the BLM, Antifa riots. They use all of their weapons. They don't mess around. When they want to get somebody out, they're going to use all of their weapons, no matter what it is, to get that person out. And they use all their weapons in 2020, and they got Trump out of office. Even with the mail-in ballot situation, that was the biggest thing. That stuff is never going to be challenged, because apparently it's settled. We can't talk about it anymore. We can't speak about it. It's settled. So okay, fine. But mail-in ballot was an issue at the time. Okay, and unfortunately, that issue has not been settled. And I got people talking about, 2022, and we're going to get the House back in 2022, and then in 2024 we're going to reelect President Trump. I don't know about that. Don't talk to me about no 2022 when you haven't even resolved the issues in 2020. You haven't even addressed the allegations that came about November 3rd for you to even start talking about 2022. Address that allegation first before you start talking about 2022 and he's going to run in 2024 and win. Forget all of that stuff. If you don't fix the issues now, there ain't going to be no 2022. There ain't going to be no 2024 because the Democrats got it on lockdown. They got it on lock. They got the whole game rigged.
100%. Yeah. And that's what I was going to kind of ask you. Like, what do the conservatives, the right, the Republicans do? Like, they need somebody to step up because President Trump is silenced. He's been silenced on social media. Nobody can access anything that he wants to say. I mean, it's really alarming to me that he didn't jump onto some kind of alternate platform that will take him on. But maybe these platforms are worried about getting their hosting taken away from Amazon as well. Who knows? But
the censorship is unbelievable.
It's crazy. Like, you can't even host. You can't even host.
They say, Twitter's a private company. They could do whatever they want to do. No, private company. You dealing with public customers. You are a publicly traded company. You have to answer to shareholders. You have to answer to the public. You're no longer a private company if you're on Wall Street with a stock market price. I mean, I know Twitter has never made a profit, but that's another story. But they're a publicly traded company. They serve the public. They are the modern day 21st century communication way, just as the telephones were back in the 20th century. So this is the modern way to communicate. Twitter, Facebook, Google, Amazon. This is the modern way to shop, modern way to communicate. Ain't not about no more private company. No, there needs to be some rules, or I guess Section 230. I guess that would have to be repealed. But there needs to be rules where social media, Amazon, and others are made into utilities like the phone companies, because you can't just cut somebody's phone service off or water service off or their light service because they're a racist or a sexist or a bigot or a homophobe or whatever. You just can't do that. You don't ever hear AT&T banning someone because they're a racist or whatever. You never hear that stuff. But Twitter, because they acting as a private company, they could do whatever they want. No, they're public, and they taking advantage of us with this Section 230. They're obviously a publisher. They obviously, you look at their happening now thing on the right side of the screen, that trending garbage. I wish I could block that garbage. That stuff is so trash. It's so biased, so garbage. I wish I could block it. But everything has a liberal bias. Every single story. Republican did this. Marjorie Taylor Greene said that. This one said this. It's like, come on, man. Like you can't be. Look at this. Senate GOP. Everything with the GOP in it is always negative. Everything with the GOP is negative.
Is American.
That must be a conservative thing that's trending.
Yeah.
But I've seen other stuff, especially during the campaign, that I'm like, come on, like I can't. Ain't no way for me to block this garbage. Like, seriously, it's so nonsense. It's so biased. It's not even funny.
Here's one of the things about Twitter. And they are like the public square. Like, you can have an account. Anybody can have an account pretty much, and you can just go out there. It's like everybody's yelling into this hallway, and all these doors are open, right? But a lot of people are going to slam those doors shut. But some people are actually going to keep that door open and listen to you. But you never know who's listening. Those doors are mystery doors. So you don't know who's listening. However, at the same time, the person that owns the building in which those doors are located has the ability to completely silence whatever you have to say whenever they want to, for whatever reason. And the reason, and part of the reason how I look at it is, it's just as devil's advocate for a minute, because I agree with you 100% with what you said. Yeah. But we're not the customers to Twitter. The customers are the big corporations, they're advertisers, the people who are actually spending money to have their tweets showcased on the platform. Like, those are the customers. We're just, what we are is what they monitor. We're the bait. We're like, if someone's going fishing, we're the bait at the end of the hook. and the fish are the big advertisers. They just take our data and they're like, here's all the people that want to see, you know, the Royal Rumble commercial or whatever. You know what I mean? And that would be you and me and a bunch of other people. So that's the difference there with Twitter, is like, we're not the customers. Now, if they put Twitter behind a paywall, which might be the end game for them to like have a free Twitter service. But then guess what? If you want, you can have this paid Twitter service. Now you're behind a paywall. Now it's up to you to actually be the consumer. What do you think about that idea? Because I think that might be where we're headed.
That idea will be a total failure for Twitter. That'll be a total failure for Facebook. Because you've offered the service for free for so long. There's nobody that's going to actually pay to post on Twitter. There's no one's going to actually pay to post on Facebook. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I can't see that. I can't see that business model being a successful one.
So it's almost like back when newspapers started publishing online, because they held out for a while. If you recall, like a lot of these newspapers were like, we're not doing a website. That thing's going to go away. But eventually they had to. They were forced to.
All doing
they changed. They changed their business model, and initially, online access to newspapers were absolutely free. Initially, in the beginning, Then they put them behind a paywall, and now if you want to go to like the New York Times, you can read like a few articles for free. Then you have to pay to get behind the paywall to read the rest of the articles, which makes sense. It's understandable. But if Twitter's considered a publisher, they might be forced just through legislation. With the way things are going, I'm not saying it's a good idea. I don't like the idea. I love Twitter. I wish I was never banned from Twitter. I wish my account continued to grow and the wrestling community continued to embrace me instead of push me away. But I wish that happened, but it didn't. And I'm trying to pivot and do something a little bit different. But like, I just think through legislation, that might be the end game. That might be what they have to do. And we might have other decentralized forms of social media pop up that hopefully take the place, you know? And speaking of decentralization, you like cryptocurrency, right?
I do. Absolutely. Yeah. Big Bitcoin guy. Yeah.
Good. Let me bring this up, man, because I want to, I do this usually on my show, is bring up the coinmarketcap.com. And let's take a look at all of this beauty, bro. We know Bitcoin. I saw it in your profile. You're a Bitcoin guy. Are there any other cryptocurrencies that are on your radar right now?
I'm a big Litecoin guy as well. Actually, Litecoin is my biggest holding. So I'm a big Litecoin guy. I also own a couple of other smaller ones. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. Those are the top three. And then I have a couple of smaller ones there as well.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful thing, man. I'm loving what's happening right now.
Look at that sea of green. Look at that.
Yeah, dude.
We are on the verge of a mega bull market. Bitcoin's at $34,000.
Yeah,
what is it right now?
30, just under 33. And this is staying, like, it is chilling, like around 29,000 seems to be the bottom right now in a lot of models that I see, except just for like the immediate future. I'm not sure which way it's going to go, but even if it goes down, man, I'm a hodler. Like, I'm going to continue to buy no matter what. It's like we're in the gold rush and this is our shovel and it's the only way to get gold.
I consider it to be like a life raft with all of the hyperinflation that's getting ready to take place, the devaluation of the dollar that's taking place, the printing of the money. You know that Biden is going to print trillions this year. And the Democrats and Republicans are going to agree to it. The Republicans really have no power in this. This is a Democrat-controlled House, Democrat Senate, Democrat White House. So they're going to be able to pass whatever they want to pass. Republicans are either going to have to get on board or I guess stay left behind. So you're going to see trillions be printed this year. With 2,000 stimulus, they said 1,400 for the stimulus, but it should be 2,000. I don't know what's going on, because we were promised when let me get to this. When Warnock and Ossoff were running, what did Ossoff come out and say? Ossoff came out and said that, as soon as I get elected, I promise you, we're going to send out those $2,000 checks right away. Okay, this is February 1st. He's been in office for a couple of weeks now. Where's the legislation that's going to be signed that's going to show us that we're going to be getting a $2,000 check? Now they're talking about.
Mix. Hold on. This is what happened, bro. There was a riot at the Capitol.
Oh, right.
So forget about all that. We got something new to talk about.
A new distraction. So they promised 2,000. Now it's 14 on top of the 6. Now they're talking about they're gonna introduce legislation in March. Wait a minute, you promised us that the legislation will be introduced now when you get in office on January 20th. It would have been introduced right away. But they're going to be busy. The Capitol Hill violence. They're worried about this farce, second impeachment, which is total nonsense. Donald Trump did not incite a riot. I listened to that speech on that day. There was nothing that he said that even came close. It was the same mumbo jumbo nonsense that he always says. You know what he always says. Okay, the same stuff. Okay, garden variety stuff. Okay, whatever. Nothing in his speech, any words in his speech was there to incite a riot. It was to peacefully and patriotically march down to the Capitol to protest the allegations of the election. Okay, let's put it that way. I mean, I don't know what happened on January 6th where I'm hearing things of agent provocateurs, Proud Boys, Boogaloos, the whole nine. Enrique Tarrio, I heard he was a law enforcement informant for many years since 2012.
He's the leader of the Proud
Boys. Yeah, the Proud Boys. Yeah, and it just came out a couple of days ago that he was a law enforcement informant, kind of like Al Sharpton was an informant for the FBI. It's kind of like that kind of situation. Okay,
gotcha. Yeah.
So that alone discredits that whole Proud Boys Boogaloo nonsense. I would never get involved with that stuff anyway. I don't suggest anyone get involved with those groups. Stay away from that stuff. If you even think about it, just stay away. It's not even worth it, man.
Dude. But, somebody a couple months ago when I started to back Trump publicly, somebody's like, "You're a Proud Boy." This dude handsy. He's like, he called me a Proud Boy. Whoa. And dude, this is how naive I was. Yeah. I thought he was calling me gay, dude. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what Proud Boy was. So I looked it up and I'm like, I'm not a Proud Boy. Like, I'm in no organization. I'm a lone wolf, man. I don't run with any crowds.
I used to have people DM me. They want me to join Blexit. They want me to join this group, join the 3%. I don't want to join no 3%. I don't want to join no Proud Boy. I don't want to join BLM. Don't DM me to tell me to join no group because I'm not interested in joining nobody's group. I'm an independent, sovereign individual. I would like to remain that way. I like to be a free thinker, think my own thoughts, say my own opinions, without having to be tied down to some group that if I stray away from their mission statement, if I stray away from their opinion, then they're going to say, oh, like you're bad, you're this, you're that, you're a sellout, da da da. So I don't even want to get involved with that. I'd rather be an independent person that has my own opinion, has my own thoughts, can say whatever he wants, can post whatever he wants, without being tied down to any group. I don't want to get it. And this is why as well, after what happened on November 3rd and what the Republicans subsequently did, which was a disgrace. The Republican Party is a disgrace. They suck. They suck.
I've never liked that. I've never liked those old dudes, man. Oh, they're horrible. Yeah.
They did not even back this president, and even looking into the allegations, everyone's like, "Oh, baseless allegation, conspiracy theory. There was no fraud. Nothing happened." Okay, I mean, there was plenty of evidence. There was plenty of video evidence, but I guess you don't want to. Y'all don't want to address that. Okay, fine. We're gonna memory hold that now. We're gonna push that. We're gonna delete that. And it never happened and it exists. It's official. They don't even want to verify the signatures. Even in Georgia, Republican governor, Republican secretary of state, they didn't want to verify the signatures. They didn't want to do any of that stuff. They want to just memory hold. I say, oh, no, baseless, false, fake news. Biden won. Okay, fine, whatever. But from that point forward, I said, you know what? I'm never going to vote ever again for either of the two parties, ever again. Because if I know that my vote can get thrown out in the trash can and not even be counted, I don't care for what political party. If I know that my vote's never going to be counted, that is going to be just thrown out of the trash can. And I'm in New York. There's voter fraud in New York like crazy. They throw out votes. New York is rigged. It's rigged. Okay, that's the fact. So if I know my vote's going to be thrown out in the trash can, never to be counted, then there's no point for me in voting anymore. Then I might as well just not vote. If the party that I'm voting for the president for, Republican Party, if the Republicans don't even want to even bother to look at the mere allegations, that's all what January 6th was for. was to please do a 10-day commission like they did back in the day with Rutherford B. Hayes, when I guess he there was some election allegations there too or whatever. And they had like 10 congressmen sit down for 10 days looking over the situation. We just wanted something similar. There's a precedent for it. We wanted a commission to just at least look into it. And if there's nothing wrong, if everything comes out on an up and up, then okay, fine, we'll accept it. But to even refuse to even address the American people's concern about the integrity of our elections, and especially on the Republican side, they foo it away. They tell you to shut up. They push it down the memory hole. They tell you it's baseless, conspiracy theory, baseless. Okay, then fine. Then I might as well not vote anymore. Then what's the point of me doing that? So I'm not going to vote for any more Democrats. I'm not going to vote for any more Republicans. I'm going to be just independent. I can say whatever I want, do whatever I want, be able to watch from a bird's eye view of what the two parties are doing. And you're seeing what the Republicans are doing right now. They're trying to side with the Democrats. They're trying to get rid of Marjorie Taylor Greene, even though she's a nut. She's a nut. Okay, she says some crazy stuff that I don't really approve of. I like her, but the Q-tard stuff got to go. That stuff got to stop. The laser beams that caused the wildfires in California, that got to stop. That's a no-no.
I never even heard that.
harassing David Hogg or one of these not Sandy. It was Lakewood,
one of those school shootings.
Lakeland, in Florida.
Lakeland
in Florida. Mm-hmm. Harassing them. That shouldn't be done. You shouldn't be doing that. I agree. I mean, the only reason why she won was because the Democratic challenger actually gave up campaigning and moved out of state to somewhere else. So she basically ran. Yeah. So she basically ran unopposed, and she was able to win. She was able to win, because she didn't have no competition. But I know they got their lasers pointed at this woman, Cori Bush, another newly elected Democratic Congresswoman. She don't want to have an office next to Marjorie Taylor Greene anymore because she's a supposed white supremacist. So this woman, Cori Bush, she led BLM in St. Louis. She led those marches. She did all of that stuff. And she ousted a sitting congresswoman who was there for a long time. Her family was holding that seat in that district for more than 50 years. And she was able to get them out. And what does Cori Bush do? What is the first thing that she did? Hold on a second. What is this? What is the first thing Siri's acting up? But what is the first thing that Cori Bush does? The only words that's coming out of her mouth is white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. Is that the only words you know? Is that the only words that you know that come out of your mouth? Why is your vocabulary so limited that you can't think of anything else but white supremacy? That's all you know. And then she want to introduce legislation to expel Lauren Boebert, to expel Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley and Marjorie Taylor Greene and any other Republicans who are so-called white supremacists. So this is a Democrat game. They coming in here with the race baiting, with the white supremacy baiting, with the January 6th insurrection baiting. Even AOC is in on the game. The squad is in on the game. Every Democrat's in on the game. So
yeah, it's wild, man. It's really crazy out there. And I want to create a scenario for you, right? And I want to kind of tie it into something else that you're probably you'll appreciate this. So let's say we had 15 lefties, 15 righties, and we put them inside the Royal Rumble, brother. Okay, we put them in the 30 person. This is an intergender Royal Rumble,
right?
All right, over the top rope. One survives and goes on to WrestleMania. All right. So let's hear it, man. Who's the winner? If there was 15 from each side, they go into the Royal Rumble. Who comes out on top? Who is, and in other words, who is the most powerful political person right now? Because you could easily say Joe Biden, but I don't think he'd win. I think it's somebody else. Who do you think is the most powerful right now?
I think Joe Biden is the weakest.
Yeah, same.
To be honest with you. He doesn't really run anything. Look at this magazine.
He's Santino. He gets eliminated in a second.
I bought this magazine, Joe Biden, the 46th president. This is the face of the New World Order. An 80-year-old dementia-ridden man. This guy. This guy. Okay. I bought that magazine a couple of weeks ago. Okay, listen to this. I want to tell you who's going to win the Royal Rumble, but listen to this. Think about it. What do Pelosi and a Maxine Waters and a Biden and Mitch McConnell and others, Dianne Feinstein, what do they all have in common? They're all over 80 years old. We have a bunch of 80-year-olds that have a huge say on how we run our lives, that have a huge say in legislation and what they spin to the media, what they spin on social media. These 80-year-olds have a huge say. I mean, the younger generation is trying to come up too. Look at the squad. They're trying to come up too. But right now, Pelosi's still in power. McConnell's still in power. Schumer, Dianne Feinstein, many others. All of these 80-year-olds are still in power. Why? Why weren't they voted out of Congress and the Senate years ago? Why are they still here running things and telling us what to do? I mean, we need some fresh voices, some fresh faces. And I'm not talking about fresh voices and far left extremism that they study Marxism, they started the Bolshevik revolutions and all of these different things. I ain't talking about that. Fresh faces, fresh voices that are smart, that are constitutionalists, that know what they want for the future of this country, the right thing, not a socialist utopia, but freedom, prosperity, and liberty. That's what we're looking for. Low taxes, less government, prosperity, freedom. That's what we're looking for.
Yes.
Now, as far as the Royal Rumble, the strongest political candidate on the Republican side, I would say, will be Ron DeSantis. I think he's the strongest one right now. He's run Florida very well. They're not locked down. All of the businesses are open. Yeah, they got mask mandates and they got social distancing or whatever, but everything is open. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. It's a pandemic, but everything is open. Everything is open. Kids are back in school. The parents are at work. Everything is open. Restaurants are running normally. Whatever it is, they're doing fine. Compare that to Cuomo in New York. Now I'm hearing Cuomo saying, yeah, I want to reopen the restaurants now with 25% capacity on February 14th. I'm hearing Lightfoot in Chicago. Oh, yeah, I think it's time for us to reopen our indoor dining soon. Oh, in San Francisco, the same thing. De Blasio wants to do the same thing too. We've never actually gotten out of the lockdown in New York. I know you in New Jersey. Phil Murphy's horrible. Phil Murphy's been attacking, harassing the Attila's gym in New Jersey. Just total financial harassment, purposely trying to destroy that business, just trying to make an example of someone who did not follow the lockdown rules. He wants to make an example out of them to get them out of business. In New York, Max Public House in Staten Island, de Blasio had sheriffs try to close down the business. They're still trying to fight to keep it open or whatever the situation is. I don't know if they got fined or not. I know one of the owners or the managers accidentally ran over a sheriff. That case got thrown out because it was BS. He didn't really get run over. Like the sheriff parked himself in front of the car as the guy was trying to drive out of the way. Okay, that's yeah. And so I got in your way. Oh, and then you ran me over. Oh, so now you in trouble. Now you're gonna be arrested for vehicular harassment or whatever they call it. So I mean, we've never been fully out of the lockdown. I think Ron DeSantis would win that Royal Rumble. I think Josh Hawley would be like a close second. On the Democrat side, the most powerful Democrat, I hate to say it, it's Cuomo. Despite his flaws. Wow. Cuomo is still popular in New York. Don't get it twisted, man. Don't even think that people don't like him no more. Yeah, they love him. He's more popular than de Blasio. Cuomo would win that. He won an Emmy. Now he's talking about reopening stuff. Now he's talking about, I don't want to follow the science now because I think there was like 9 people at his COVID team. They all quit because Cuomo wasn't following the science. Well, Cuomo was saying for months, you got to follow the science. You got to follow the science.
They've all been saying that. They've all been saying follow the science.
Yeah, the most powerful Democrat is Cuomo, not Biden. Biden is just brain dead. And the most powerful Republican in the Royal Rumble will be DeSantis, and then second will be Josh Hawley. I think it'll be those 3. They'll be top contenders.
I love it. I love it, man. That's awesome. Well, one last topic, and then we'll let you go. I know we went a little bit over our agreed upon time. Is that cool?
That's okay. No, man, it's good. I'm enjoying it, man. Yeah.
All right. So we have a situation where we're kind of being told that it's going to be our turn to take this what I call the Great Cornholio virus shot. You know, they've gone from saying, like, President Trump never really said it was mandatory. Nobody's saying it's mandatory. They haven't outright said that, but the verbiage, words matter when they speak. Though you have to pay attention to the specific words and how they change over the course of time. And what we're saying now, like you were saying, like, oh, they said $2,000. Now they're like $1,400. They've been saying, you know, it's going to be a time to get shots in all the arms of Americans. Now they're saying it's going to be your turn to get the shot. So I don't really have a specific question, but let's jump into this a little bit about this Great Cornholio virus, you know, shot that they want to give us, man. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, as far as the CV, the shot, I always call it the shot. They want to place it right here in your arm. Okay. I mean, I don't need it. I don't want it. I tell my parents they don't need to take it because we've been dealing with coronavirus for a year. Okay. And we've been okay. Even with underlying conditions and stuff like that. My parents have underlying conditions. Okay. But even I tell them they don't need to take it. And I actually show them articles of people, mainstream. This is mainstream. Okay. This is not some hocus pocus type of stuff. This is mainstream stuff of people. There's actually fatalities of people that have taken this thing right here. Okay. I think there was one doctor in Miami, 50-something-year-old doctor, no underlying conditions, no allergies or anything like that. Healthy, he's like to scuba dive, the whole 9 yards. So he takes this, and I think a few days later, he started developing spots, like bruises all over his body. Like, it was this weird situation going on, a weird physiological change going on. And he got sent to the hospital. And a few days later, he ended up dying of a stroke. And only thing that his wife could think of was him taking this. He took this. It was the first dose of medicine that he took. He didn't even make it to the second dose.
Gotcha.
And, yeah. So, you know, as far as that, and there's others, people getting Bell's palsy, people getting a lot of different things.
How about that nurse that disappeared? I don't know if she ever popped back up. Remember, she took it on TV. You ever hear that story?
Which one? The one that we talking about? The one that fainted?
Tiffany Dover. Yeah, she like disappeared, man. Her Instagram stopped posting. There's a YouTuber that's following it super closely. He has like daily videos about it, and she's just disappeared, kind of like.
So she took the dose, and she never reappeared on social media.
Yeah.
Wow.
Instagram got shut down. There was an update to her what's that website that does the genealogy? Ancestry.com. There was an update to her Ancestry.com that this YouTuber found that she was deceased. Don't know if it was photoshopped. I don't think he knows either, but I don't know what to believe. Yeah, dude, you're right. It's
I mean, it's so weird. I'm not taking it. And then you have Fauci. Okay. In early February, early March, whatever time frame it was, right before we locked down, what was Fauci running around on TV saying? He was saying that, oh no, the mask, you don't need a mask on, you don't need to wear a mask, you don't need to wear one. You don't need to wear a mask. That's what he was saying. Because it's just for my feels. That's basically what he said. It's for my feels. If you feel that you're going to be safe to wear a mask, and you wear a mask, and all it's going to do is protect you from a little bit of droplets, but it's not going to be needed. It's yeah.
Look at this crew.
Yeah. You know he's a part of that group. So he went from saying that, oh, we don't need to wear the face diaper, the censorship muzzle, as I call it, because that's what that is. This whole thing covering up your face with this thing plucked around your ears. You got these two strings behind your ears with a cloth around your face, a diaper, is a censorship muzzle. So he said at the beginning that we didn't have to wear the censorship muzzle. Now he's saying that he said that you needed to wear a censorship muzzle, the N95 mask, or whatever they call the mask, to protect you from the droplets of COVID-19. Now he's saying that you need to wear 2 masks. Next, people are going to say you need to wear 3 masks and then 5 masks. When does it ever stop? And then he comes out yesterday or today, and he says, oh, you don't need to wear 2 masks. 1 mask is just fine. But you have these, because you put the information out there that you need to wear 3 masks and 5 masks and 2 masks. You have actual morons that are posting their pictures on Twitter of virtue signaling. They got their arms to their waist with their head up, looking at the camera with their 3 diapers on, saying, look at me. I'm wearing a diaper while working out running. I'm running and jogging 5 miles wearing a face diaper. And so should you. Don't you know that you're just reusing the same oxygen that you're breathing in so much that's going to, it will just go inside your lungs and just blow it up? I've heard of stories of people that were jogging with their face diapers on, and this one guy in London, he was a jogger, and his lungs collapsed. He was jogging with a face diaper on, and his lungs collapsed.
He was outside?
He was outside.
Why are you wearing it outside?
He was outside wearing the diaper, jogging. He passed out. His lungs collapsed. He had to get sent to the hospital. He didn't die. Thank God he didn't die. But he was sent to the hospital. But I'm like, that is so dangerous. They're telling you to do all of these different things. Everybody's virtue signaling, but nobody really knows. Fauci doesn't even know. He always changes his mind. And the CDC, they put out a guideline recommendation, which starts today, that in all public transportation, in all of the airlines, that facial coverings are required. So you have to wear a face mask. That's the recommendation nationwide. That's part of the 100-day mask mandate. Didn't Biden sign the executive order on mask mandates on federal property? Yes, yeah. Sir. What does this guy do on inauguration night during a celebration? Early in the day, he signs the executive order for the mask mandate on federal property. What does he do on that same night? He's walking around with his family, and he's walking around without a mask on federal property. Rules for you, but not for them. That's basically what it is. And just one more thing, because I call this face diaper a censorship muzzle, because it is for you to keep your mouth shut. They don't want you to talk. They, meaning Democrats and Republicans too. They're part of the problem too. They don't want you to talk. They want you to keep your mouth shut. They want you to comply with the orders, obey. And you see people here running around, these mask Nazis, running around, bossing people around for not wearing the diaper, for not complying with the rules. Everyone feels empowered. People get the cops called on. I've heard stories of people getting pepper sprayed out in San Diego. There was a couple that weren't wearing a mask, and one of these cameras is running around with telling them, you gotta wear your mask, you gotta wear your mask. And the next thing you know, she takes out her pepper spray out of her pocket, her pepper spray. And I think she sprayed the guy. She sprayed the guy in the eyes with the pepper spray because he wasn't wearing a censorship muzzle. Because she wanted him to wear the censorship muzzle because she wanted to feel empowered. She wanted to feel virtuous. She wanted to signal out to the world that, hey, look at me. I'm a Karen, and I care about our health, and we got to wear our diapers, and we got to do everything we need to do to defeat this disease, quote unquote. I don't really think as bad as it is purported to be, but I think a lot of the count that we saw, a lot of those people must have had comorbidities, diabetes, high blood, heart disease, asthma, whatever the situation is, cholesterol issues, whatever. But flu, where's the flu? Nobody.
Without the virus, we're the sickest, fattest, most diabetes, disease-ridden country on the planet, even without the virus.
Yeah. And so we got that. And I'm just shocked at how quickly our society has fallen over the past almost a year. We're February 1st, almost 1 year next month into this lockdown mask thing. They're never going to let this mask mandate end. You know that, right? You understand that, Jay?
Oh,
right?
yeah. Dude, look, bro, it all started, in my opinion, when Kobe Bryant died. And then at the Grammys, they had this big ritual type thing for Kobe. And then the next week was the Super Bowl, and they had this big I don't know if you remember this insane Jennifer Lopez performance that was at the Super Bowl last year. Yeah. Completely insane. Then we have just almost immediately, an entire year of a pandemic coming into this year. Then we get Biden's inauguration with Lady Gaga and Jennifer Lopez again. And now we're going to get another Super Bowl that's probably going to have so much symbolism and craziness. It's going to blow your damn mind. You're right. I can't see an end to the masks. I can't see an end to it.
The mask mandates will never end. The lockdowns will never end. Just because Cuomo and Lightfoot and others are talking about, oh, we're going to do 25% capacity. Oh, we might open up soon, the restaurants. Just because they give you a little taste of what normalcy looks like doesn't mean that they're going to keep it that way forever. Because you see what they're doing in the UK. I think they've been on like 3 lockdowns.
Oh yeah. It's bad, dude.
Jay, they've been on 3 lockdowns. They have a conservative prime minister, Boris Johnson, a so-called conservative who's conserved nothing. He's just giving away the whole country to everyone, to China, to everyone. Conserve nothing. The Republicans here are the same. They've never conserved anything in 75 years because we are where we are today because nothing has been conserved. You notice that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's also an evolution. It's also a natural evolution of the way, technology kind of takes over and different. Yeah. So there's a lot more to it than that, just policy and whatnot. But you're right. Ultimately, you're right. It's pretty insane when you really think about it, that things have changed at such a rapid pace, especially over the past 20 years.
The change over the past year, Jay, I don't think we're ever going to go back to pre-March 2020. I don't think we're ever going to get back to that. I don't think so.
Wow, dude. Well, let's wrap it up on that. Let's wrap it up on that. Let's wrap it up on that point. Yeah, I'll let you wrap up in one more thing, but let's wrap it up on that because I don't want to keep you over an hour. But I want to do this again. I think we're friends, bro. I think this is a good show, and I want to do this. Man. Hell yeah. I want to do this more in the future, man. So I want to officially invite you back on. Maybe next month we'll do it again. But yeah, dude, finish up, plug whatever you want to plug, and then we'll get out of here and watch Monday Night Raw tonight.
Oh, absolutely, man. Just one last thing. Again, it's never going to end. The masks are not going to come off. The lockdowns will never end. Biden is doing he's doing the Agenda 2030 plan. He's actually doing the plan. He's opening the borders. He canceled XL, threw away people from their jobs. The stimulus is delayed. I don't know what's the delay with the stimulus. We're still doing impeachment. China GDP is growing while the U.S. is not. Unemployment is through the roof. I don't see this ending anytime soon. Anytime. It's sad for me to say, but the damage that has been done over the past year is irreparable.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, you're right, man. You're right. Well, so where can people find you? YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all over the place. Every social media platform, bro. Well, look, thank you for joining me, man. And let's get this message out there, man. Let's get this. Please, if you're watching, share this video. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, help us out because we're trying to spread a message that isn't slanted too much in one direction. Yes, we both lean right. We both consider ourselves conservative at this moment in time, but we've noticed over the past decade that things can change very quickly. So let's continue to get the truth out there, the message, and get out of this mainstream media matrix.
Absolutely. Join me on Twitter at iammix24, at iammix24, YouTube at iammix. Join me on Instagram. All I do is mix. On Instagram, all I do is mix. That's not political. I want to build up the Instagram as well. Do some more photography on it and stuff like that. Make it not political. Make it something a little bit more fun. So I'm going to be building that up. But join me on those platforms. And thank you for having me on the show tonight.
Thanks, Mix. I appreciate it, bro. It's been awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, dude.
Thank you.